Hello, beautiful beings. Welcome to Soul Shift Messages. If you found your way here, trust there's something in this message for you. Understand this space is about growth, truth, and transformation. We don't bypass here, we don't sugarcoat, and not every message will feel comfortable, but it will be honest. I speak in flow, and sometimes that includes cussing. It's just part of how the messages come through. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, and trust your own discernment above all else. Take a deep breath, and let's begin. If you are new here, please know at this time I create weekly content in 3 parts. Part 1 focuses on what needs to be revealed. Part 2 focuses on what needs to be understood. And part 3 focuses on what needs to be done. Essentially, what changes do we need to make to embody whatever we happen to be discussing that week. Based on when you see this video, you'll find all available links to content in the series in the description box below. If it's not available yet, just know it's on its way. So I say all of that to say this is going to be part 1 for this week, and this week's topic is presence. I'm calling this message, Presence is the Practice of Meeting Reality Honestly. Let's dive in. Presence is not a technique. It is not a state you force yourself into. And it is not something you achieve once and keep forever. Presence is an ongoing way of participating in reality. Babies, why did I hear someone like groan? I just channeled, we don't give a shit. They're just saying it is what it is. I just heard keep that shit to yourself. Babies, you are here having this experience. How do you have this experience if you don't participate in reality? Like, how are you going to meet new people? Anyone. You're just going to hermit in your life, in your house, in your space till the end of your days? Come on. Someone came out swinging. And I got news for you. They're feisty on the other side. They're ready for your shit. I didn't even get through the intro. Damn. It is the ability to meet what is actually happening with clarity, honesty, care, and appropriate action. Most people think presence means being in the moment. That is only one small part of it. Presence is much deeper. It changes how you relate to yourself, to other people, to your own thoughts, emotions, body, power, time, and to life itself. The central message is simple. Presence is what remains when you stop trying to make reality become something other than what it is. It is not passive acceptance. It is active participation without unnecessary resistance, force, or distortion. And they're calling your ass out if you were the person who groaned. They're saying that is unnecessary resistance. And I just heard a clap back. Oh, it's going to be a good message. I can feel that. Either that or it's a no bullshit one, which could still be a good message depending on how you decide to interpret that. Anywho, presence is revealed by removing, not adding. Most forms of self-improvement Focus on gaining something, more confidence, knowledge, control, discipline, awareness. Presence moves in the opposite direction. It asks, what can be removed? Remove unnecessary effort, control, thinking, fear, performance, urgency, attachment. Remove the need to always be right, to always be understood, to always know. As these layers fall away, presence naturally becomes visible. Presence is not created, it is uncovered. Like cleaning dust from a window, you do not create the light. You remove what prevents you from seeing it. Babies, they are bringing me back to remove the need to always be understood. And they actually want me to share something personal, so I'm going to honor that. I've said in a video before, and I'll say it again. I do love my parents, and I absolutely do love my father in particular. Not that I don't love my mother. I'm just saying. If I am being really honest with myself, I'm just going to call it like it is. My dad and we have never really understood one another. I understand him a lot better now than I did. And I had to accept the fact that I had expectations of him as a father that I just genuinely don't believe he was capable of meeting. And that created a lot of pain in my childhood because for whatever reason, I just wanted my father to understand me so badly. So badly. Like my mom knew right off the bat that I was an old soul, and my mom is absolutely a no bullshit person. So if, she, for lack of a better way to put it, she knew. I don't like the term, but I can't think of anything better. Like she knew how to handle me. Like she knew I couldn't be treated like just your average kid. Like she used to joke, like, listen, my 4-year-old has her shit together more than some of these adults. Like, mind your business. I will take care of my child. Just type of shit. So if you're wondering where I get it from, yeah, I do get part of that from my mama, but some of that is just genuinely me. But yeah, my father just never understood me. And it hurt a lot growing up. It really did. And I'm not going to like dump all this family stuff on you, but I recently got to a point that was really healing where I kind of realized one of the most beautiful gifts that my father, like one of the most beautiful lessons he taught me was you don't need to understand people to love them, to show up for them, to advocate for them. I don't know, I just went through some things and, especially during my awakening. And even though if I thought my father didn't understand me before, after that, I think he understood me even less. Like he trusted me. He knew I wasn't lying to him. And I know he trusts my gifts and the insight that I get, but he just never understood it. But anytime I needed him or anytime, things were getting hard, like my father had no problem showing up and being there for me. So I feel like someone out there really feels like, and I know my father unconditionally loves me. I really know he does. Like, there is almost nothing my father wouldn't do for me. But I just feel like someone out there really feels like in order to be loved, they need to be understood. And I am just hearing somebody fully understanding you is just not possible. We've talked about that in a past series. I forget which one. You can never fully be known. And so when it comes to presence, it is the same thing. You do not need to be fully understood to show up for others and for others to show up for you. They're really saying understand yourself and look at the bigger picture. Some of you have limitations, limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs in place that require examination. That's why I had to share that story, because that was me moving through that limiting belief. And I don't know who needs to hear this, but when I let go of those expectations that I had from my father, I healed a lot of father wounds. I let a lot of past pain go. And even though things are not great with my parents right now, um, when I talk to my father energetically, it's a lot lighter than it used to be. So some of you may want to put some of those burdens down that you've been unintentionally projecting onto people. They didn't ask for that. Okay? Let people meet you as they are, and you receive them as they are, and move from there. All right, that went longer than I thought. Let's get back at it. Presence is a continuous cycle of relationship. Presence is not a destination. It is a living rhythm that repeats throughout life. The rhythm is simple. Notice, receive, allow yourself to experience what is happening honestly. Understand, respond. Allow the experience to finish. Release it. Become available for what comes next. Then begin again. Presence stays alive because it is constantly renewed. It is a continuous cycle of relationship. Nothing is held longer than it needs to be. Nothing is forced to end before it is complete. Nothing is prevented from changing. And they want me to point out, I didn't ask my father to do anything different. I didn't ask him when I let that go. I didn't ask him to change anything about what he was doing. It was my perception and the way I was willing to accept his presence in my life as he was capable of being there. I don't know why they want me to drive this point home so hard. You need to remove the need to always be understood. We are always changing, babies. Everyone around us, theoretically, is always changing. Be open to receiving people how they are in that moment for who they are. This definitely ties back to the intimacy series. Can I be here with you now as I am? That definitely is tied to presence and intimacy. And for those who did not watch the intimacy series, that is available as a playlist. And when I talk about intimacy, I don't know why I got to clarify this, but I'm not talking about just sex. Intimacy is beyond, moves beyond sex. Check it out if you want to learn more. Presence is not the same as energy. Energy constantly changes. You may feel joyful, fearful, inspired, tired, calm, excited, confused, hopeful, grateful, angry. None of these determine whether you are present. Presence is the ability to remain aware, regardless of which emotional weather passes through you. Emotions move. Presence remains available. Presence does not eliminate emotion. It allows emotion to move without becoming imprisoned by it. Your feelings are not problems to solve. They are information to receive. They become unhealthy only when they become your entire identity. This is why we've talked about you need to let energy flow. Let it move, because otherwise it gets stuck, stagnant. It can get frozen in the body. Let it flow through you. If it is coming up, feel it, breathe through it, and let it process. Some of you could be processing a number of emotions at this time. I'm hearing sometimes you just get the urge to purge. Your guidance is to just support your body and be present. Ground down if you need to. Focus on your breath. But some of you definitely have things that are coming up to be processed, to be released. They want you to release it. It is coming up for a reason. Presence changes your relationship with power. Power is often understood as the ability to make things happen. Presence transforms power into something much wiser. Instead of asking, "What am I capable of doing?" you begin asking, "What is actually needed?" Sometimes strength is action. Sometimes strength is restraint. Sometimes strength is speaking. Sometimes strength is remaining silent. Sometimes strength is protecting. Sometimes strength is allowing another person to struggle because growth requires their own participation. Say the last one again. I've said this before multiple times, babies. Someone needs this repetition. So I'm going to say it again. Sometimes strength is allowing another person to struggle because growth requires their own participation. I am hearing once again, it is mind your business season. Baby, some people around you are going to be learning lessons that are not yours to endure. And some of you have a tendency to jump in to the middle of people's lessons, and your ancestors, I'm hearing, are sick of your shit because you don't belong in there. That's not yours to take on. And I'm hearing you got your own stuff to deal with. Woo! They want me to say it a third time. And here's why. Because your ancestors are saying if you keep interfering with other people's lessons, they are going to start hitting you harder. The more you interfere, the more you prevent people from learning and growing from these lessons on their own, the more painful they're going to make it for you. Stop taking other people's shit on. It is mind your business season. I'm going to hit this one more time and then we're moving on. Sometimes strength is allowing another person to struggle because growth requires their own participation. Presence makes power precise. It uses no more force than necessary. It wastes no energy trying to dominate what can simply be understood. Power is built on accurate relationship. Presence is not merely awareness. It is right relationship. Right relationship with yourself, other people, your emotions, thoughts, time, uncertainty, change, power, reality. Problems often arise not because something exists, but because the relationship with it becomes distorted. Fear is not always the problem. Attachment to fear is. Thought is not the problem. Living entirely inside thought is. Emotion is not the problem. Being controlled by emotion is. Presence continually restores healthy relationship. Presence receives before it responds. Reality is constantly communicating. It communicates through your body, intuition, observation, relationships, changing circumstances, emotion, silence. The difficulty is rarely that reality is silent. The difficulty is that people are often too busy speaking, reacting, predicting, controlling, or explaining to hear it. I'm literally hearing shh in my head. Presence begins with listening. They're telling me again, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Pay attention to ratios. This is not passive listening. This is active listening. Be fully present and listening. Listening that allows understanding to form before action begins. Fully take things in. Reaction happens immediately. Understanding develops. Presence consistently chooses understanding before reaction. This does not make action slower. It makes action wiser. Why? Because you allow reality to reveal the truth to you before you take action. And if you tuned into the integrity series that I did last week, and that is coming to mind, yes, they're saying that is an appropriate connection to make. Presence does not reject thinking. Thinking is one of your greatest tools, but it is only one tool. Thinking can become understanding. Thinking can become imagination. Thinking can also become worry, analysis, indecision, fear, endless mental repetition. Presence does not ask you to stop thinking. It asks you not to mistake thinking for reality. Thought describes experience. It is not experience itself. Presence allows thought to serve direct experience instead of replacing it. Sometimes thinking teaches. Sometimes only living teaches. Wisdom is knowing the difference. Again, some of you are trying to think your way through things you need to act through. It's been coming through for a while. Presence is most clearly revealed in relationship. You may believe you are present while alone. Relationships reveal whether that is true. Can you listen without preparing your reply? Say it again. That's fair. Can you listen without preparing your reply? Can you allow someone else's experience to be different from your own? Can you disagree without hostility? Can you remain open while uncertain? Can you help without taking control? Can you love without possessing? Can you remain honest without becoming cruel? Presence is tested through relationship because relationships continually expose attachment, fear, expectation, identity, and control. Every relationship becomes an opportunity to practice presence. Presence begins with respect. One of the greatest obstacles to presence is treating life as something to own, consume, dominate, or exploit. People are not possessions. Experiences are not trophies. Knowledge is not something to collect simply to feel superior. Life is not something to conquer. Presence recognizes that everything possesses value beyond its usefulness. Respect naturally replaces domination. Care naturally replaces exploitation. When perception becomes accurate, ethical behavior follows naturally. Kindness becomes less about rules. It becomes the natural result of seeing clearly. Some of you are going to learn, understand, and see the difference in other people between presence and performance. I just feel like some of you are going to have different types of people come through in your life to show you what true presence looks like. They are meant to set an example of what you are capable of embodying. That's interesting. Presence knows what is enough. Many problems begin with excess, too much striving, excitement, helping, talking, worrying, planning, thinking, control, attachment, ambition. Presence continually asks one question: what is enough? Enough effort, rest, speech, silence, action, waiting, emotion, thought, certainty, uncertainty. Wisdom is often revealed not by doing more, but by recognizing when more has stopped serving life. They're playing the song Gravity by John Mayer in my head. And they're not drawing me to any particular line. Some of you need to look up what that song means. Because it's not one line in the song, it's the song. Some of you need to listen to that song. Some of you may want to do both. Look up the meaning of the song and listen to it. Gravity by John Mayer. It's actually a very good song. I like it. But yeah, but they're drawing me back to, but by recognizing when more has stopped serving life. Presence understands timing. Life moves through rhythms. Some things must grow slowly. Some things must be protected. Some things require patience. Some things require immediate action. Some things naturally lose energy. Some things should be intentionally completed before they collapse. And I'm hearing some of you are learning lessons around this now. If that resonates with you, baby, my heart goes out to you. Take your time to process. Presence asks not only what should happen, it also asks when should it happen. Good timing is part of wisdom. Knowing when to begin, when to continue, when to pause, and when to stop. Some of you could be Kenny Rogers fans. Some of you could be familiar with his song, The Gambler. Gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, that type of stuff. That may resonate with you more than what I just said, but maybe some of you want to listen to that song too. It's a classic. My grandpa loved that shit. I know he did. Thank you for being here. Sorry, that was my grandfather telling me, yeah, I did. Presence understands endings. There are healthy endings and unhealthy endings. Healthy endings are chosen consciously. You recognize completion. You release what has fulfilled its purpose. You let old identities disappear. You let outdated beliefs dissolve. You allow relationships to change. You allow seasons of life to finish. My gosh, I don't know if you could hear that or not, but I just had crows going off like crazy outside. And they're saying that's the ancestors. The ancestors want me to say that section again. Healthy endings. You release. I don't know why that's coming through, but yes, you can talk to crows. You can talk to crows. Some of us can, not all of us. We all channel different things. But yeah, the crows speak a lot, and I don't know who needs to see it. You want to know how deep the crows and I go? I had the crows leave this beautiful, pretty much perfect feather for me in my yard. And if you want to be really on point, this is from the hawk that likes to protect my land, my house, and me. I was eating breakfast when it actually popped up on a branch on a tree near my house, and it told me that it was the one who gave me that feather. And how do I know they're gifts? How the fuck you get like 2 pristine feathers in your yard exactly where you would see it? There was no way I could miss either one of these. And you usually don't find them that intact. I know, I've seen other feathers. So some of you, the birds have a lot to say to you. For some of you, your shamanism could really be opening up. I'm just hearing if you feel like the birds and nature are starting to communicate with you, I'm just hearing you not crazy. Trust where you're feeling connected. Trust what's coming through. Some of you are definitely being activated. All right. So again, you release what has fulfilled its purpose. You let old identities disappear. You let outdated beliefs dissolve. You allow relationships to change. You allow seasons of life to finish. Some of you absolutely have seasons of life that are finishing at this time when you're hearing this message. Unhealthy endings happen when you refuse to let go. Energy becomes exhausted. Relationships collapse. Bodies become overwhelmed. Minds become burned out. Life eventually forces the ending you refused to choose. Presence honors endings before collapse becomes necessary. Ending is not failure. Ending creates space for renewal. Endings lead to new beginnings. And they want me to remind you that anything that is genuinely meant for you cannot miss you. And what do they mean by that? They're just saying if things are ending at this time or things have ended, they were meant to end. Release it with thanks and gratitude. Process what you need to emotionally. Learn the lessons from it and move forward. And they're saying that's not coming from a heartless place, because some of you are hurting. They're saying it's coming from a very loving place, and they want you to remember, babies, our guides, our ancestors, our higher selves, whatever you believe in or don't, there are things they can see that we are never going to be able to see down here in this experience. They can see the bigger picture. I've had my team tell me to do things I had no idea why. It made no sense to me. I just felt very clearly I needed to do that thing. And I did it. Why? Because I trust them. They got binoculars I got no access to down here. There are an infinite number of timelines, and sometimes we do shit just to collapse things we're not interested in. All right? I trust. We roll in the deep over here. Someone needs to hear that. I'm hearing someone needs to believe that, but I'll leave that up to you. Presence is not tied to identity. Many people attempt to become a present person. Presence asks something different. Can you stop defending fixed ideas about yourself? Can you allow yourself to change? Can yesterday's identity end? Can today's understanding replace yesterday's certainty? Presence requires flexibility. This is a theme we're not getting out of. If you've been here for the past, I don't even know, 2 to 4 weeks, that's been coming through a lot as well. The more tightly identity is protected, the less available you become to reality. Presence values truth more than consistency. Presence creates freedom. Compulsion says, I have to. Presence asks, is this actually necessary? And I'm not going to lie, I'm hearing some of you are going to have people reaching out for help. And I don't know why I'm hearing another day, another dollar. This is the question they want you to ask yourself. Is this actually necessary? Do I actually need to get involved? Some of you need to stop being the mediator and let people handle their squabbles and shit themselves. Some of you really got to stop being the middleman. I'm hearing it's getting messy as fuck in there. Aren't you tired of this? Compulsion reacts automatically. Presence restores choice. Between every impulse and every action, there is space. That sacred pause. Presence lives inside that space. Freedom is not the absence of impulse. Freedom is the ability to choose your response. Consciously respond instead of reacting. Presence welcomes complexity. Reality is rarely simple. People contain contradictions, emotions over, damn, Mercury retrograde. People contain contradictions. Emotions overlap. Situations contain competing truths. Presence does not rush towards simple answers. It remains with complexity long enough for deeper understanding to emerge. This is not indecision. It is patient clarity. Many insights appear only after uncertainty has been tolerated. Presence transforms suffering. Fear, grief, anger, loss, confusion, uncertainty. These are not evidence that presence has failed. They become opportunities. Presence changes your relationship to suffering. Instead of immediately escaping discomfort, you become curious. Instead of reacting automatically, you observe. Instead of resisting every painful experience, you ask, what is it revealing? Presence does not remove pain. It prevents unnecessary suffering created by resistance, denial, or unconscious reaction. Babies, we're really getting into more disciplined concepts. And what do I mean by that? We're just really moving into, like, if you're not ready to mature to this level, they're saying that's okay. You are still more than welcome to listen. But we're really going to be moving into concepts that consistently build off of the previous foundation or the previous concepts that we went over. Like, this absolutely does tie into and build off of integrity, which I went over last week, and it touches on the other things. This is really about self-mastery. What are you willing to embody? How far do you want to take this? How far do you want to go? Some of you may want to ask yourself those questions and really reflect on that. Because the knowledge is only going to take you so far. I'm going to leave that there. Presence lives in the body. Presence is not an abstract mental state. The body is constantly communicating. Been getting downloads about you guys need to listen to your bodies more. And they're saying this is no joke. I'm hearing this is not a drill. I'm also hearing don't act new. Don't act new. All right. Breath, posture, movement, fatigue, relaxation, tension, comfort, discomfort. These are not obstacles. They are information. Learning to listen to the body becomes part of learning to listen to reality. I said, I don't even know how long ago it was, but it was a while. Your body wants a seat at the table when it comes to your intuition. Your body, if you think your body is talking to you, it absolutely is. The question is not, is your body talking to you? The question is, are you actually listening to your body? Your body is trying to become an active partner with you. And I'm here to take it seriously. Because you know what? I was blessed enough to have someone teach me how to listen to my body young. And I'm not going to lie, I'm very grateful to have not had many medical scares in my life, and to also be surrounded by doctors who knew I was not lying when I was looking at them and telling them something is very wrong. We need to keep looking. And you know what? Every time I said that, I was taken seriously and there was definitely some shit going wrong. And not little shit, big shit. All right? Listen to your body. It is your partner. I'm also hearing your gut is your second brain. Listen to it. I don't care if that shit can't handle milk or whatever. Listen to it anyway, especially when you're not eating things you know you shouldn't be eating. Right? We all know that person who can't handle ice cream, who gets ice cream every fucking time. We all make our decisions. I'm just saying. Pay attention. Presence is experienced physically. You breathe it, walk it, speak it, rest in it, work through it, love through it. Mature presence develops several qualities together. A mature person learns to step forward when courage is needed, listen when understanding is needed, care when compassion is needed, imagine possibilities when vision is needed, set boundaries when protection is needed, release when endings are needed, wait when patience is needed, act when action is needed. These qualities are not opposites. They work together. Presence is the wisdom that knows which quality belongs in each moment. How do you build that wisdom? Participate in reality. You will be given plenty of opportunities to build that wisdom, refine your discernment, learn your body's signals, whose body is screaming at them. I don't know why this is coming through. Someone's body is screaming at them and you're ignoring it. Baby, your body's going to sit your entire ass down if you don't heed that warning. I don't know who that's for. I'm not being guided to be more specific than that. Alrighty. Presence moves like breathing. Life expands. Life contracts. There are seasons of growth, rest, connection, solitude, speaking, silence, beginning, ending. Trying to remain permanently active creates exhaustion. Why do I feel like that's for the person whose body is screaming at them? Trying to remain permanently withdrawn creates stagnation. Presence trusts both movements. Expansion without contraction burns out. You need rest. Contraction without expansion stops living. I'm hearing use it or lose it. Healthy life requires both. Growth happens through refinement. Growth is often imagined as accumulation. Presence suggests another path. Refinement, more accurate attention, more honest speech, more thoughtful action, better timing, clearer intention, healthier boundaries, less distortion, less noise, less illusion, less unnecessary effort. Growth becomes increasing precision rather than increasing quantity. Again, they're bringing me back to the earlier point of presence is about removing, not adding. It's easier to be more present when you start becoming very clear on what matters and what does not, and moving appropriately. Some of you, like, I'm just seeing someone's energy and that shit's just all clogged up. All clogged up. I don't know if, and I don't know whose energy this is, but if you got a lot of confusion, you got too much in your energy. That's clear as day to me. I feel like you wouldn't even know if it was your own thought or not if it smacked you in between the eyes. That's how crazy this energy looks to me. Like, looks like soup, like a fog. Maybe that's why some of you feel like clarity can't find you. You gotta clean up your energy. What can you remove? Again, for some of you, you just gotta start handing people shit back to them. I'm busy, you handle this. All right? It is stand on big business season. I can't escape that. Attention is creative. Whatever consistently receives your attention begins to grow. Attention feeds experience, strengthens habits, shapes perception, influences identity. Presence therefore carries responsibility. Where you repeatedly place your attention slowly becomes the world you experience. Baby, some of you need to honestly look at like what is your energy and what is not. Like some of you need to understand. You need to really pay attention to your body. I shit you not. Some of you need to really think about how you feel after you're around certain people, after you talk to certain people. What kind of mood were you in before? What kind of mood are you in after? Some of you need to consider watching my energetic entanglement with others playlist, because some of you are quite literally too open with your energy. You don't have good energetic boundaries, and I say that with love because we've all been there, but you are actually taking people's energetic shit on, and that is clogging up your energy. So some of you will be like, I was in a great fucking mood before I talked to this person. I don't even know what happened. You took their shit on. You literally did. Some of you also need to consider taking a look at the codependency playlist that I have as well. Some of you need to learn about energetic hygiene. Some of you need to learn about energetic boundaries. Some of you can also look up techniques to cleanse your energy while you're working through this, because it's going to take time to clean that shit up. Where attention goes, energy flows. Some of you need to look at the way you spend your time and your attention and treat that shit like money. Is that a good investment? Is it not a good investment? Some of you need to use that money analogy because you have too much attachment to people, places, and things that are not healthy for you. You need a more objective way to view them. Some of these people are sucking you dry energetically, and you know it. You know it. Some of you actively try to avoid these people now because you just feel like shit by the time you're done with them. And I'm hearing that doesn't make you the bad person. Sometimes there are people who only know how to take. They cannot reciprocate. You have to treat them appropriately. And in some cases, you may decide you just want to part ways with that person. Again, it doesn't make you a bad person, even if you make that decision. You are not responsible for carrying the weight of how other people feel about you, especially when you're honoring your truth. All right, let's keep it moving. Reality is always inviting understanding. Every experience contains two invitations. The first invitation is reaction. The second invitation is understanding. Reaction is fast. Understanding takes time. Presence repeatedly chooses understanding first. This transforms experience from something that merely happens to you into something that teaches you. Some of you need to get curious before you react. Some of you people say things, you make assumptions about what they meant, you react, and it makes the situation worse. In some cases, I'm hearing some of you are having multiple misunderstandings with multiple people. Look at what is repeating in your experience. What are you consistently doing in those situations? You need discipline. You need that pause. Even if it's just as simple as, what did you mean by that? And I'm hearing keep it in a neutral tone. Don't be accusatory. Just keep it in a neutral tone. What did you mean by that? You know when I actually love to use that shit the most? When people make stupid ass misogynistic type of shit. They try to throw that my way. I play dumb. Bitch, they don't pay me to act, but some days they should. I'll just be like, I don't get it. I don't get it. Can you explain that to me? And then watch people try, like, standing still, but energetically damn near falling over their feet, trying to figure out how they justify that. Because A, I don't laugh. That shit's not funny. And second of all, I'm actually kind of enjoying you struggling a little bit over here. I'm cool. I'm keeping a straight face. I might even smile in your face while I wait for you to come up with that shit. Some of you need to move more strategically. Some of you need to learn that game. Some people really out here playing checkers, and some of us be playing chess. Which one you want to be? They're saying the more disciplined you are, the more intentional you can be with your moves, your words, your presence. Especially if you know you're dealing with manipulative people. I don't know who needs to hear that. Get really intentional. Listen very well. Be as present as you can because they trip themselves up and they absolutely tell on themselves. The more you pay attention, the more you gonna learn and the better moves you can make. I don't know why I need to put someone up on that game, but you're welcome. Presence trusts life without abandoning responsibility. I don't know who needs to hear this, but baby, I am 3 for 3 for taking down narcissists. I think at this point they just send them my way so I can basically put them into their own awakening or their own shadow work. I don't love it, but I am highly skilled. And if you need humbling, and I'm told to humble you, bitch, you going down. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you look like. You gonna learn today. I know who you're dealing with. You don't. And that's your disadvantage. Presence trusts life without abandoning responsibility. Trust does not mean believing everything will be pleasant. Trust means recognizing that not everything must be forced. Seeds grow in their own season. Healing unfolds gradually. Understanding matures. Relationships evolve. Grief completes itself. Insight appears after enough listening. Presence works with life instead of constantly trying to overpower it. Flow with it. Be flexible with it. Inspiration grows from openness. The deepest insights rarely arrive through force. They appear after certainty loosens, after old assumptions dissolve, after conflicting ideas are allowed to coexist, after enough listening has occurred, after reality has been received rather than controlled. Insight cannot be commanded. It emerges naturally from openness. Again, you need to be open to receive, baby. That's why we had to go through receptivity as well before we got to this topic. If you are not open to receive, how is that going to find you? How's it going to land? The deepest paradox. The more desperately you try to possess presence, the more it slips away. The more willing you become to meet reality honestly, the more naturally presence appears. Presence cannot be owned, stored, or mastered once and for all. It can only be practiced again and again, moment after moment. The complete message. Presence is a way of living in truthful relationship with reality. It is the practice of meeting each moment with clear perception, balanced judgment, ethical care, appropriate action, and the willingness to change as life changes. Flexibility. It is not about becoming extraordinary, perfectly calm, or endlessly productive. It is about becoming honest enough to see clearly, humble enough to listen, courageous enough to act when action is needed, restrained enough to stop when stopping is wiser, compassionate enough to care without controlling, and free enough to let each experience complete its purpose. Presence is a continual movement from compulsion toward choice, from domination toward participation, from excess toward sufficiency, from fixed identity toward ongoing growth, from reaction toward understanding, and from illusion toward reality. It does not ask you to escape life, but to enter it more fully, to meet each person, each feeling, each challenge, each ending, and each beginning with respect, discernment, and openness. Ultimately, presence is not something added to your life. It is what becomes possible when everything that separates you from direct, honest participation in life is gradually recognized, refined, and released. I just heard, and so it is. That is my cue. So that's what I have for part 1 on presence. I will be back later this week with parts 2 and 3. Feel free to tune in if those resonate with you. And if they don't, that's not a problem. Just know that content will still be there if you happen to change your mind later on. All right, take care of yourselves, beautiful beings. Until next time, bye.